Hello. Today I'm reading some more from Horse Crazy, written by me and illustrated by Roland Harvey. And we're starting a new story today. It's called Saving Mr. Pinto. I've dedicated this story to my friend Roddy, and Roland has dedicated it to Coco. There's a nice little picture at the start. Winter. Bonnie and Sam knew all the horses and ponies in Currawong Creek. They were horse crazy. Neither of the girls had their own pony, but they managed to ride almost every day. They kept an eye on all the horses in town. Now in winter, when the days were short and the nights were long and cold, Bonnie and Sam were always busy after school. They stopped at Tarzan's paddock first. Tarzan was the grumpiest pony in town, but he knew Bonnie and Sam always bought him a treat to make him happy. "Look at you," said Sam as he picked up her apple core with his whiskery lips. "You look like a doormat, you're so hairy." "That's right," said Bonnie, scratching his ear. "You don't even need a rug." There's a lovely watercolour of Roland showing them the girls in the paddock with Tarzan. Next they visited Big Whale, who shared a paddock with Tiny Bella, then Blondie and Tex behind the news agency, and Horry, the old racehorse, who loved a relaxing neck massage. They stopped to check their friend Tricky, who Bonnie once rode in a circus. Sam straightened his rug and Bonnie threw him a biscuit of hay from the shed. Then they skipped along under the leaden winter sky, jumping to keep warm and dodging the puddles in the street. The paddocks were bare, with clumps of jonquils and daffodils scattered over them. The deciduous trees had lost all their leaves. It was a cold, grey landscape. And here you can see the horses. There's Whale and Bella. And there's Blondie and Tex. And there's Horry and Tricky, all with their rugs on to keep them warm. This chapter is called Rugs and Rubs. The last stop before they reached Sam's house was Biscuit, a nervous chestnut mare who belonged to Wally Webster, the local stock agent. Biscuit would have frozen without the girls. Her coat was fine and she shivered in the cold weather, but Wally refused to buy a rug for her. "It makes as much sense as putting a pair of pants on a seagull," he had snorted. "Horses have fur, they don't need overcoats." "Actually, they have hair, not fur," Sam had whispered to Bonnie as Wally sloshed away through the puddles. They didn't want to be too cheeky to Wally because he let them ride Biscuit whenever they liked. When Bonnie and Sam had told their riding instructor about Biscuit, she had given the girls an old rug, and now Biscuit was snug in a bright purple coat. While Bonnie gave Biscuit some hay, Sam felt around the mare's shoulders and wither, checking for rubs. "Right as raid," she said to Bonnie. "I'll race you to the house." There's some jonquils. There's Biscuit. An offer. Sam slurped a hot chocolate and looked out the window at Drover, sheltering from the wind behind the shed in her paddock. Sam's family was just her and her dad. Bill was the local policeman and Drover was his horse. The phone rang. "Bag's not answer," Sam said. "It'll be your mum wanting to pick you up." Bonnie lived on a big farm out of town. If she didn't go straight home on the school bus, her parents had to drive in from Peppermint Plain to collect her. As she went to Sam's house nearly every night after school, this meant a lot of trips for Chester and Woo. But it wasn't Woo on the phone, it was their riding instructor. Yep, sure, yes, we can come right away." Bonnie hung up the receiver. "That was Cheryl," she said, her voice excited. "She wants us to go to her place now. She's got an offer for us." Cheryl Smythe-Tite lived with her mother and an elderly blue heeler called Burl Ives on the outskirts of Currawong Creek. Everyone called their farm Tidy Town because it was so neat. White fences, red sheds, green grass, straight rows of trees, and a smooth gravel drive that Bonnie and Sam raced up. Sam's little dog Pants raced ahead. Pants was short for Smarty Pants because she thought she knew everything. Cheryl's beautiful dressage horse, Chocolate Charm, nickered to them from the open stable door. He was covered in rugs, so only his ears, eyes and nose could be seen. "Hi, Choco," they called to him. From time to time the girls picked up horse poo in his paddock and Cheryl paid them in riding lessons. Riding Choco was different from riding any other horse. He was big, powerful, graceful and had beautiful manners as well. When they rode Choco, they felt like princesses. Looks like a very cold day. "How are my two lovely girls?" called Cheryl's mother. Kath had ridden show horses all her life, and she liked anyone who loved horses as much as she did. She hugged them both into her fluffy purple cardigan with white stallions embroidered on it. "Come on, Cheryl," she said impatiently. "Ask them." There's the front of their house. It looks pretty fancy. Cheryl looked at Bonnie and Sam very seriously. "What I'm going to ask you will be fun, but it's also hard, responsible work." Bonnie looked at Sam and tried not to laugh. She always got the giggles when anyone gave them her talking to. But Cheryl said, "I'm going to the Royal Show next week. Mum's sister, Auntie Lil, usually comes and helps Mum strap for me, but she's broken her wrist and I need some extra help." She looked at them both for a long time, and Bonnie had to fight the giggles again. "Would you two like to come and help?" "Woo-hoo!" yelled Bonnie and Sam. They had dreamed of going to the Royal Show since they were little girls. "Yes," they both shouted at once. "There's something else," Cheryl put her finger up to quieten them. "I entered you in the Royal Show Junior Girl Rider, Bonnie, ages ago, after you won at the Garden Hope Show." Oh, did I miss? Oh no, I showed you that picture. This chapter's called Best Junior Girl Rider. Every summer and autumn, Cheryl and Kath travelled to agricultural shows around the country, competing in hack and riding classes. Cheryl's purple four-wheel drive towed a matching purple horse float. Sometimes Bonnie and Sam went to help, and occasionally Cheryl let the girls enter a riding class on Choco. Bonnie always did better than Sam, even though Sam was a good rider. "It's just because I'm small, Sam," Bonnie said to cheer her friend up, and that was part of it. Bonnie looked like a sprite on Choco, but she also had a grace and magic that made her stand out. Star quality, Cheryl called it. When Bonnie won Best Junior Girl Rider at the Garden Hope Show, she was ecstatic about her lovely blue sash. Sam clapped until her hands were sore. Neither of them realised that Bonnie's win had qualified her to ride at the Royal Show. Now Bonnie felt excited and scared at the same time. Sam felt a twinge of envy, then pushed it behind her, and they both screamed with happiness. Next week, Mum and I will go to the showgrounds and get Choco settled in," said Cheryl. "I've asked your folks to let you miss the last day of term so you can catch the train into the city. Mrs. Puller is bringing one of her cakes to the show, and she said she'll look after you." She smiled. "I need you then because Choco and I are riding in the Gary Owen." Mum will tell... Oh, hang on. I didn't show you that picture. There's Bonnie winning Junior Rider. "Mum will tell you about the Gary Owen," Cheryl said in response to the girls' raised eyebrows. "She's ridden it at heaps of times. I'm going to feed Choco." Kath pulled down a cracked photo album and flipped through it. "Look, here I am at my very first Gary Owen 40 years ago." Bonnie and Sam peered at the black and white photo of Kath, looking more like Cheryl on a tall grey horse. "That's old Overlander. He was my first hack." "What is the Gary Owen, Kath?" asked Sam. "Well," said Kath, "it's a competition for the lady rider and her horse, for the best in the land. There are 6 judges giving marks for saddlery, general appearance, rider's costume, riding, horse's manners and paces, and horse's conformation and soundness. Everything has to be perfect." "Why is it called the Gary Owen?" asked Bon. "What does it mean?" "I think it's a famous Irish marching tune, but it was also the name of a horse. Gary Owen was a beautiful hack owned by a famous rider called Violet Murrell, who lived about 70 years ago. That's before even I was born. One night, Violet woke to find the stables on fire with her horses all trapped inside, including her favourite, Gary Owen. She died trying to get them out, and the horses all died too. And I think her husband and their little dog died later." Kath wiped a tear away. They started the Gary Owen in memory of Violet and her courage. There's a lovely photo of Kath on her horse. Oh, I better stop there because that's we've got a new chapter and I'm nearly up to my 10 minutes. So thanks for listening, and I'll keep going tomorrow. Bye-bye.